Hi, so in this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how the chunk loading works in Xenoplanet. So you can see, as I move around, new chunks are being loaded ahead of the player and old ones are being unloaded from behind the player. If I turn around, the same thing happens, but actually this is a little different because these chunks that are being loaded have already been generated. All the data about the chunk already exists. So we're actually not we're not making new chunks when we explore chunks we've already been to. We're just re-adding them to the game world. And this helps with two things. Firstly, it cuts down on loading time. We don't have to do all the calculations to make a new chunk. And secondly, if I chop down a tree or open a chest in one of these chunks and then come back to it, that tree will stay chopped down and that chest will stay looted. So it keeps the game world consistent and doesn't just reset chunks when we come back to them. And now I'm just going to show you how that works in code. So this is a class that keeps track of all the chunks. And you can see in this class we have this dictionary called loaded chunks. And this just holds every chunk that's ever been generated in the game. And then down here we have this method called load chunk, which deals with all the chunk loading, whether it's a new chunk being generated or an old chunk just being reactivated. So you can see we start by just checking the dictionary. We say, hey, have we already made a chunk at this position? If we have, we grab that chunk, we just set it as active, we make sure all the trees and stuff have been placed on that chunk, and we return it. If we don't have a chunk at that position, we just instantiate a new one. We get its class, the class that holds all its information, and we load it and we set the terrain. And then we add that to this loaded chunks list so that if we ever come back to that chunk, we don't have to regenerate it, we can just reactivate it because it's already been loaded. Why would we waste energy on that? Anyway, thank you. That's just a little bit about how we do chunk generation in Xenoplanet, and thank you.